Hi gang, Rob here. It is the evening of 25 February 2019. Coming to you with sort of a first look, and it's a first look for me too, not just you guys, at an interesting knife from a maker that I've kind of admired from afar for the last few years. His name is Enrique Pena, as you might gather from looking at the nylon pouch on your screen. And this knife is interesting to me because it's kind of not what Pena fans are used to seeing, although he has migrated in this direction. I'm going to do away with the pouch and kind of bring you in a little closer here. Enrique has become sort of semi-famous, I guess, in the world of traditional pocket knives, slip joints, and lockbacks. He sort of ventured into the more modern realm. I'm going to need to wipe this blade. Ventured into the more modern realm a few years ago when he, as one of the conservators of the Tony Bowes Lanny's clip pattern, began to produce Lanny's clips with titanium handles, faux bolsters, and even some frame lock flipper Lanny's clip knives, believe it or not. And Enrique has sort of found some joy and probably some profit in making modern folders. This one, the Pena Mula, M-U-L-A, is one of his more recent efforts in the modern folder realm. And here's what it is. It is a 3 1/4 inch bladed, drop point, swedged beauty with a subtle thumb ramp that is jimped and well jimped. It is grippy enough but not overly aggressive. A very large hollow grind, hand rubbed satin, 150 thousandths stock. Blade steel is CPM 154, and it's backed up by a very classic handle shape. Bead blasted titanium with a series of a dozen holes with bright chamfers. Blue anodized titanium backspacer. Mokutai clip. And a non-inserted naked titanium frame lock. Pivot is by way of ball bearings. This one not a flipper. Thumb stud actuated, but beautiful action. So in addition to that 3 1/4 inch blade, we have a 4 3/8 inch handle. The height of the knife closed top to bottom, 7/8 of an inch, and the thickness about 530 thousandths, so about 1732. A little weighty. It's almost 4.2 ounces. Now this, I think, is kind of a special Pena modern folder because this is a full custom by Enrique. And where I think it shows up the most in its customness is in the blade grinds and the blade finishes. This is a hand ground blade, and not that it's sloppily done, but as you look down the spine, you can tell that this blade was ground by hand. This is a full custom, guys. This is not a production knife. This is a knife of love from the hand of Enrique Pena. And I haven't spoken to Enrique. I haven't corresponded with Enrique. But I think it's kind of interesting, this titanium frame lock bent that he's been on of late. I know his first love is traditional pocket knives, slip joints, and lockbacks. I kind of think this pays the bills. And I've grown to know enough makers in various disciplines of knife making to know that the most difficult custom knife to make, the most technically difficult custom knife to make, what do you think it is? The one that takes the most time and is the most difficult to get right. If you said the traditional slip joint pocket knife, you are correct. So the slippy takes the most time. It's the hardest to get right. Probably generates the most scrap of slippy, modern folder, and fixed blade. Yet probably market value wise might be the least. So if you're a maker who wants to make a living and you're able to come up with some pretty cool designs in titanium frame lock modern folders to pay the bills while you're working on those labor of love knives, not a bad idea. My hat is off to you, Enrique. So let's talk about this as a piece of cutlery. And it has been used. By the way, guys, this video is probably going to air late Monday the 25th or early Tuesday the 26th. This knife is going to be for sale this week in the Thursday night knife sale. So on 28 February 2019, this knife will be offered for sale. And it is a consignment. So let's evaluate it as a piece of cutlery, not necessarily as a custom knife piece of artwork. So ergonomics, it is right hand only tip up carry, so I'm going to manipulate it with my right hand. In the saber grip, it's very fine. I do not feel the clip at all. In the draw cut grip, in the hammer grip, very good. And if I wanted to sneak forward, I could do that. Wrap my thumb around the front of the handle. I'm not in danger of the cutting edge there. This isn't quite as comfortable as the natural hammer grip position. Draw cut grip, plenty good. The spine fills the fingers. Then in the vertical draw cut, very good. And in the reverse grip, not saying you'd use this knife this way, but it works. So the classic shape performs in a classic fashion. I have not measured the thickness behind the edge, but my digital caliper says maybe 28 thousandths through this thinnest portion of the blade, maybe 32, 35. Past the belly and up through the tip. It thickens at the tip so ever so slightly. So the maker's edge is probably done at, I don't know, 22 or 23 degrees per side, not overly aggressive. What do you guys think of that hand rub set and finish? I think it's pretty fine. And I think the visual tension between blade and handle is absolutely rocking. It kind of looks like, if there was if there were a Le Mans race car version of a Chris Reeves Sabenza, it might look like this, the Pena Mula. Super neat, usable size, 3 1/4 inch blade. And let's take a look at sort of a close-up view. Tell me what you think of Enrique's handiwork. How's the lockup? Absolutely rock solid. Zero stick. I did notice the centering is not quite perfect. Off to the left a little bit as you're looking at it. And its owner did manage to inflict one little pocket clip rub on it. Here's a little interesting thing of note. I'm going to put this down for a second. It did ship with not only the pouch, but inside the pouch a small Ziploc bag with a larger diameter thumb stud. So if you'd like to change that out, you could do so. Just a Phillips, I believe. Nope, I'm sorry, a T6 Torx. Affixes that thumb stud to the blade. Very fine work. In blade grind and finishing, I'm saying custom slip joint quality, which I'm sorry, modern folder custom makers. The slippy guys are just plain better at most aspects of blade grinding and finishing. The good ones. Because the slip joint customs are generally finished to a higher level of detail and consistency than the modern folders are. Unless you're talking a couple South African guys that do beautiful blade finishing. So this knife sold new for $895. Probably a little less than a Pena slip joint, maybe like a Highline Lanny's clip from Enrique. Not going to be that much when you see it run this Thursday night. But this knife really kind of speaks to me. There's so many outlandish designs in the modern folder market right now. It's like guys are absolutely driven to do something different than has ever been done. But I think there's kind of great value in doing something that is classic and functional and beautiful because of those two things. Does it take a slip joint maker to kind of reset the modern folder style of the day? Maybe it does. Did a maker of beautiful custom classic slip joint patterns look at some pictures of, let's say, the first modern folders, tried and true blade designs, and just do it to its highest level? I think Enrique has kind of done that. And I think the Mula is a very cool knife. Thought you guys would like to see it before it goes up for sale. I'm just grateful to have one in hand. Get a little shot of that Mokutai, because I haven't been able to have one in hand yet, and I have now. So good deal. Thanks for sending it, Drake, and thanks to its new owner, whoever you might be. That's all for this one, my friends. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And remember, the Word and the Mula are sharp